Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Boss Ravioli Queens, with your hosts, Boss Lady Amy,
Nicole Ravioli,
and Jasmine the Queen.
So, I don't know if you've been listening. I would surely hope so. But a couple episodes ago, Miss Jasmine...
You better listen to us.
announced that we are going to be changing things up, doing our announcements a little bit differently. So, we're kind of playing around, seeing what works. So let us know if you have any feedback, what you like, what you don't like, that sort of thing.
Please drop a comment on one of our posts on Facebook.
Comment, like, follow, all of the good things.
Email us with suggestions.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're plenty open to emails
Yep,
too.
you can find us at bossravioliqueens@gmail.com for email.
That's right. So, for today's episode, we are going to be talking about how it's not the 2010s anymore, and what I mean by that is movies. There have been so many good movies that came out in the 2000 to 2010s,
and honestly, even earlier than that, too.
Right.
Because, every generation has their...
Right, exactly. But it doesn't really seem like that many great movies have really come out since then. It feels like most movies nowadays are either remakes, sequels, prequels, or like reboots, or like taking a book and finally making it to a movie, or like an animated series and making it to a movie.
Basically something that's already there, like the whole template is there for them, and then they just reinvent it.
It doesn't seem like there's many original thoughts for movies anymore.
Also, I feel like we should also mention that there's a whole ass writer's strike going on right now.
Very true.
So we ain't going to be seeing
correct.
nothing anyway. No more recycled because they just aren't doing it right now.
Correct.
Oh, I don't blame them.
I don't either. So let's talk about Disney, first of all, because I love Disney movies.
Me too.
But I wish that they would bring something new to the table.
Yes.
Right.
Like, honestly, a lot of them have quite a similar storyline, especially any of the Disney princess movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she falls in love with some prince, and they live out their dream with some sort of, like, conflict in the middle.
Basically.
Exactly. Well, and, like, let's talk about for a second how, like, so many companies, especially Disney, are getting on the bandwagon of like, oh, let's include people of other cultures and everything, and I love that. But so many of these companies, I feel like, are just doing it for like clout and as fan service. It doesn't seem like authentic.
I agree.
I agree with that also. Like, just the first example that comes to mind is the big controversy about the new Little Mermaid movie, and how they recast Ariel as a black girl, which is fine. I loved it. I think Halle Bailey did a great job, but I'm just saying it's like I do agree that originally they made the Little Mermaid. She was like a white redhead, and the animated cartoon that was created forever ago. And it's like, I get that they're trying to be more inclusive, but instead of recasting stuff that you've already made, like in a live action, recasting it as a different race, why wouldn't you could have made it a completely different Disney mermaid movie based around a black mermaid instead of...
Right, with a new storyline.
Yeah, with a new storyline.
Exactly, and could have made
it
its own thing.
It could have even been about one of Ariel's sisters, because... ideally in the main movie, she wasn't black, but I did like how they portrayed, like, each, the way they were named after each of the seas in the new movie. Like, I like how they portrayed them as, like, what those people would be in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. No, I totally agree. I think that not only Disney, but all companies who produce movies need to start coming up with some more original ideas.
Right.
And also, I think
I get they're just trying to be like super inclusive and stuff, and they're doing the best they can sometimes, but like, you can't please everybody.
Right.
Yep, and I think that we also need to mention that a lot of the older Disney movies were made in a time that is very different from now, because back then it wasn't like really thought about to have like a black leading role.
Right.
Because back then racism was way more prevalent than it is now. And I mean, obviously,
it's still pretty prevalent lately.
If you would have let me finish my thought, I was going to say, obviously, it's still really prevalent, but like, we have black actresses and actors out there now more so than we did back then, because back then they weren't going to be cast.
They definitely have bigger voices than it used to be. But
right.
It's still fucking horrible.
Yeah, it is. But back to what we were saying before I said that, I think it's just very much so, it just needs to be new storylines. Like, come up with an original idea for a person of color to be the leading role.
Mm-hmm. And, like, give a chance to, like, all these, like, different writers out there. I feel like a lot of times corporations stick with
what they're comfortable with.
What they're comfortable with, or, like, what's already, like, or what they have already on their team. Like, why can't you reach out to other people? Like, there's so many people out there that do writing for, like, fan service, or they'll take a movie that you already did or whatever, and they'll speculate it in different ways and stuff.
Like fan fiction?
You could basically reach out to people that do that, and that could work with one of your, like, really good writers, and they could come up with something completely brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, and it's kind of ridiculous, though, because, like, I feel like that does happen, where they'll, like, you know, especially on Reddit, they'll, like, go and they'll look at, like, fan fictions and stuff, and then they'll, like, steal the material.
Right, yeah, actually take their material and then, like, give that person basically nothing.
Right, yep. That happens, too, which is also ridiculous.
And it's easy to do, because if you're a big corporation trying to take from somebody who's not big at all or well-known or whatever, nobody's going to give a shit about it.
Honestly, I think that's pretty, like...
That's pretty common, I feel like.
It happens a lot.
I really feel like a lot of, like, the classic, you know, iconic scenes and lines that we know and love from movies probably came from resources that you wouldn't expect or think about, and that person is never going to see a dime from it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some do, but not. I think a lot of them don't.
Yes.
For sure.
I totally agree.
So getting off of Disney and onto, like, movies in general, as we've already stated, people just need to come up with some new stuff, because everything has been done already. Like, even, like, action movies and rom-coms, it's always the same thing. Give me something more. Give
and
me
don't
something
get us
new.
wrong, we still like some of the remakes and, like, the live action stuff that they come up with, but
yeah, like, the live action is super cool, because to see an animation come to life literally is, like, amazing.
It's awesome. But when we're seeing it all the time, it gets old.
Yeah, there's almost no break.
I want to see, like, the new Hunger Games, or, like, the new Harry Potter of our generation, like, something that's
or
becomes huge.
Or something, yeah.
I mean, even spin-offs for me, like, I like them up to a point, and then it's like, okay, this fandom just needs to, like, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, it can be a lot sometimes. Honestly, here's another example, like the Fast and Furious movies or whatever.
Oh, God.
Love them, but please stop making them.
Honestly, I was done after Tokyo Drift.
Honestly, yeah, I don't even think I've seen all of the new ones.
I haven't. Like I said, I literally, like, I didn't watch anymore after Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, there's just, like, so many of them for no reason.
That is very true. They're all the same. They just keep making more and more
I know,
and more.
they literally just come up with some other problem that they can use cars for.
I swear to God, some of those movies, the writers probably come up with the whole plot in 20 minutes.
Probably.
And they probably handed in the script, and they're like, all right, great.
And honestly,
let's
as
start
long as the main cast that's been in most of the movies is in these movies, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because it's...
They could do anything. They could literally just stare at the camera for hours and say nothing, and people would still go in droves and pay money to see that.
I know.
Also, something with some relevancy, a lot of, well, I guess not a lot of, but we personally use Disney movies for self-care.
Yes.
Like, we like to sit down and be nostalgic.
Yes,
like,
I'm like
great.
a theater person for sure. Like, I will go pay money to see, like, good movies, like, in the theaters and stuff, just to, like, for self-care too.
Yeah. Same. I was a Disney kid. I feel like most people are.
I'll literally, like some good new Disney releases, I will literally, like, go to the theater for.
I know, like, I'll take my son to go see, like, whatever it is, and I'm like, yeah, you'll love this. You're a kid. You're interested, right? No? Okay, that's fine. We're here for me anyway.
Literally.
Like, we're literally Disney adults now because we were raised on Disney movies.
Exactly. Well, and there's, like, a couple that I, like, fixate on because, like, I had the tapes, and so I would just watch them over and over again, and it's like, why would I ever watch anything else? But now, as an adult, I look at that, and I'm kind of like, I really wish I would have, like, experienced more, especially with movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Literally, like, when Incredibles 2 came out, okay, so, like...
I was so excited.
The first Incredibles came out when I was, like, a kid, still. And then when they finally had the second one come out or whatever... I was almost low-key mad. I'll be just like, get your fucking bastard children out of the way. I've been waiting for this since I was a kid.
As soon as we saw that end credit scene, you knew there was an epic sequel coming. And, like, that's the sort of sequel that I'm okay with.
It was good, too.
It was really good. But if there is, like, a movie that, like, the series just keeps going on and on and on, it's like, okay, you can stop now.
Yeah, like it's redundant.
Like you said, Fast and Furious. Perfect example.
Can't think of any other movies that kept going on and on off the top of my head.
Not right now, but there's been a few. Or where they,
Batman.
like you just said, where they wait, like, forever to make the sequel.
Oh, they are trying to do a Game of Thrones, though. They did a spin-off, like, The House of Dragon now after Game of Thrones.
Yep. Also, like, The Walking Dead went on forever.
Oh my god, way too long.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good series, but, like, there's too many spin-offs. It went way too long. I think there's, 11 seasons?
More than I think. I'm not positive. We'll get back to that in a second.
Way too long.
And I don't know if any of you out there are, like, anime nerds, but there's a lot of animes that run on forever and they need to stop.
Some of them have, like, 200-plus episodes. It's crazy.
Oh my god, it's, like, so crazy. They're still good. It's just, like, sometimes it's like, okay, can we have the end of the story eventually?
Right.
Because, like, I want to know the conclusion, too.
Right, eventually I want to, like, know what happens.
Also, Amy was right. Season 11 of The Walking Dead was the final.
Okay, so that's
good.
what I thought. 11 seasons.
Thank
right?
God. I've never watched any of it.
I kind of lost interest after, like, season 5, I think.
Yeah, eventually it just got to be, like, the same story. Because, I mean, there's only so much you can do with a post-apocalyptic world until you've, like, reached all possibilities.
Right.
Fair.
Unless you really go out there.
Right.
Like, really outside the box on that.
Right, which, I mean, I guess they could have gone the direction of, like...
Aliens.
Aliens, but...
They could have had some Alien versus Predator right in the... Right at the end.
I would love
and then
to see
everybody just dies.
Some aliens versus zombies, or walkers.
Ooh, yeah.
Also, can we talk about, like, all the shows that they start coming out with, and then they cancel them?
Ooh, that makes me
so
mad.
That
frustrates me so much.
Dude, the series Salem...
Especially when it's so good.
I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but that royally pissed me off when they just cut it after season 3. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that I didn't finish watching it then, because I was invested in that.
It's so good.
When I originally started watching it, I watched, like, the first season, and I was waiting for, like, the second season to come out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's only 3 seasons of that one.
Yeah, and then I, like, started watching the second season, didn't quite finish it. I'm glad I kind of stopped now, because now that I know it doesn't
exist anymore.
I think it's funny how, like, a lot of the times for those shows, they'll go off of ratings on, like, television, but I feel like a lot of the times they're not accurately accounting for the amount of people that watch those shows on streaming services.
I found it on Netflix, I think.
So it's like, why would you cancel if the ratings are too low, but literally millions of people are watching the show on, like, Netflix or something?
Yeah. Lost Girl, too. That was another one.
I was thinking, just like last time, I feel like the ratings are low because a lot of people, when they come out with a series now, they initially don't watch it. They like to wait
until they can binge
the whole thing, which is kind of the problem. Is, like, I feel like is why a lot of stuff gets canceled But at the same time, the only reason people are doing that is because stuff gets canceled. If they start watching something and they get invested into it or whatever, and they're just like, oh, well, we're not renewing it. Well, now I'm invested in this, and now I don't even know the storyline because you decided to not finish it.
That's just like when I told you I was going to start watching that one show on Netflix, and you were like, don't bother. There's no new seasons.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started watching...
I got invested in... Like, I love witchy stuff or whatever. Mythical.
There was spooky bitches up in here.
There was this one show that I got super invested in. It was called The Secret Circle. I don't know if any of you will know what this is, but it was like a long time ago. And I was so invested in it, and I loved it. And it had, God, I can't remember her name, but the girl that plays in Vampire Diaries is the werewolf girl. I can't remember.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't know the actress's name, though.
And she also, I can't remember her name right now, but... she also played one of the mermaids in H2O. But
don't know.
But anyways, like, she was in it and stuff, and it was super cute. It had, like, one season. I was excited for, like, the next season or whatever. They canceled it. I was like, it was so good. And they left it on a huge cliffhanger, too.
I just recently got invested into the show Reboot, and then it got canceled, and it made me very sad. And it was kind of ironic, because Reboot was about a show that was literally about rebooting a show. And then the actors came back and rebooted the show 20 years later. And then what was so frustrating is that in the last episode, there's like talk of being canceled, and then they realized at the last minute the show wasn't canceled. And so obviously that was supposed to just be the end of season 1, and then the actual show itself got canceled.
Oh my god.
I would be.
It made me so mad. I was like, this is so good. And it has Keegan-Michael Key in it, and he's so hilarious. Like, it was so sad.
So what are your guys' like go-to favorite comfort shows? The ones that you can just watch over and over and over again?
That 70s show for me is a big one. I also, Futurama.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Anything Disney, obviously. Like, anything Disney.
Yeah, pretty much for me too. Like anything Disney, I really love Charmed. I don't know.
Oh, Charmed is so good.
The original one, not the remake. I mean, the remake's good too, but like the original one is like my go-to. Weirdly enough, like I swear I try to watch this show every year. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes.
I'm addicted to that. Like I love that show.
Oh, also Grey's Anatomy for me too. That is one of my comfort shows. Amy, I know you hate it.
No.
I know you hate it. Don't talk to me right now.
I don't really like
Grey's
it.
Anatomy is my jam.
Grey's Anatomy is like too much for me too. I'm like, no, this is like.
So I have ADHD.
I agree with you.
So like I can't. No, I cannot.
Dude, there's like a million things going on at once. It's perfect for you.
Oh my god.
No,
that makes it worse. That's overstimulation.
Yeah.
Fine. Y'all,
So, like,
y'all bitches have your shit. I have
it's
mine.
funny because like physically overstimulation works for me. Sometimes if I'm like overwhelmed, overstimulating me actually helps calm me down. But if it's in a show, if it's something I'm watching and it's like jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, like I can't. I'm like, what is happening? I can't keep up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that because, like, sometimes when there's too much happening at once, I'm like, oh my god, and then, like, I'll have to backtrack sometimes and be like, okay, now I need to go back and, like, figure out what happened when so I can, like, get the whole context. Like...
Fair. I don't know. I also really didn't pay attention to, like, the COVID season. I think they did more than one season with COVID. And I know that the writers were, like, trying to make it realistic or whatever.
Fell
but
off during COVID.
Honestly,
even in shows.
I couldn't bring myself to do it because we lived the reality and I didn't want to see it on TV too.
Right.
Like, something to get away from that when we were going through all that stuff was, like, my go-to. Anything not COVID related during that time was my thing.
Yeah.
Great. Now kids growing up nowadays are going to, like, look back at shows, like, old shows, and they're going to be like, why is everybody wearing masks during this season? Like...
So to answer your question, so since I have ADHD, I have, like... I bounce around from thing to thing, you know, so I don't have any, like, one thing that's, like, always my favorite. It changes. I guess I do have that for movies, but I don't really have that for shows.
Really? You don't have anything specific that, like, you just, like and you can watch a lot?
I really like Bob's Burgers, but, like, I still switch around.
See, well, yeah, I switch around, too. What I'm getting at is it's, like, something that you can always go back to. Like, if you just don't feel like having something on TV, but... like nothing you
It
have to
doesn't require
exactly
you to pay
have to pay
attention.
attention to it.
I cycle between shows. So, like, one of my throw-on shows is, like, Bob's Burgers. Another one is Key and Peele. Another one is South Park. Futurama's another one.
I do like Bob's Burgers, too. Or Family Guy.
My favorite all-time movies, though, I only have 2, and then the rest are just, like, a favorite for a time. My all-time favorite, top, is Elf. And then my second all-time favorite is the Simpsons movie. I have watched both of those movies probably 1,000 times in my life.
Oh my god.
Spider Pig
Does whatever a spider pig does.
Can he swing from a web?
No, he can't, 'cause
He's a pig. Look out, he is a spider pig.
Oh my god. Well, anyways, we need to know what your guys' favorite movie is, so leave comments.
Yeah, what do you do for self-care? We want to know, especially the healthcare workers out there. Like, we're curious cats.
Mm-hmm.
We are always wanting to know.
Oh, also suggest us some new shows, because
yes, please
it's nice to
do.
get suggestions of new movies and new shows and stuff to look at.
Always. I'm always looking for new stuff to watch. Like, I love bouncing around, looking at new shows. I'm not, like, specific to any one genre. I like to check out basically everything.
Same.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Also, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Yeah, let us know.
Come on, Disney adults.
Let's
Sorry,
go.
we have like 3 questions for you guys to answer, but please answer.
Your homework is due on this date.
Well, anyways, I think we've talked your ear off enough about movies. So you can find us on our social medias, Boss Ravioli Queens, everywhere. You can also email us at bossravioliqueens@gmail.com, like I said in the beginning. Let us know, talk to us. We like to know more about you guys too. We also want to try to deliver you content that you would enjoy, also, like topics that you think we should discuss. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.